Well, the scary thing is that's another year done. So here we are in autumn again. So this is the time of year when you perhaps need to give your girls some sugar syrup just to help them up, get them breeding a few more in their brood box. It really depends on what your bees are doing. If you're not commercial, you probably don't have to worry about this bit, but it's very advantageous if you want to keep them strong and healthy through the winter. So here we go. So I've got my water warmed up a little bit, helped to dissolve the sugar. We're going to go with a 1-to-1 mix. You want to use a 1-to-1 mix this time of year because that encourages the girls to breed, and it makes them think that there's a nectar flow on, and they get all excited and make some more babies, and then they hatch out and you get a nice big cluster to go through the winter. Well, that's the plan anyway. Sometimes the girls have a mind of their own. They just do whatever the hell they like. You like my fancy spoon? The wife will be pleased. I never actually stole a wooden spoon from her cupboard. I just found a bit of wood in the shed. But of course, if you're so inclined, you can have a wooden spoon. It just depends what's going on. So now I've got my sugar. I got this from the local supermarket, and it's actually cheaper to buy it in little 2-kilogram packets than it is to buy a 15-kilogram bag. So I don't know how that works, but God bless us for the environment. So I've got 30 litres of nice warm water, and I've got another 15 litres in the bucket down here that's cold water. So I don't know how good your maths, but that's 30, that's 45. So we need 45 kilograms, I guess, and I don't know how much actual liquid we're going to create. So first time I ever did this, I had this mad idea in my head that you could add the sugar and the water and the saucepan wouldn't increase it, it'd just be absorbed into the thing. But, you know, that is not the way maths work, is it? Yes, you dilute your sugar into your water, obviously your pot's going to expand. The only reason I bring that up is just make sure your saucepan's big enough, otherwise going forward it gets really complicated when it starts running over the top, and especially if you're in the kitchen. If you're in the kitchen, you should be on the sink. As a matter of fact, don't do it in the kitchen because you're getting the shit. I was in the kitchen the other day and one of these bags tore open and sugar and shit went everywhere. And I swept it all up. I thought I'd done a good job. And of course the chief comes home and she goes, "Why is the kitchen all blooming scratchy on the floor? Have you been in here making sugar syrup again?" Oh, by that stage I was sitting on the couch with a beer looking guilty. There was nowhere to run. And I said, "I did try to sweep it up, darling." And she said, "Yeah, I know, it was just in the corner, so it's all good." Anyway, she's a very gracious woman. Go outside, that's my plan. And that's why we're in this shed, so here we go. So who's counting? Everybody out there, you need to count it. So that'll be 2 kilograms. That's 6. So there we go. 2, 4, and this one, 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? The bush bee man giving us some sweet stuff to eat. Is that the song the bees would be singing? They'd be going, "Woohoo, look at that, look at that, it's a free treat. Lucky, lucky, lucky." Oh, wastefulness, isn't it? So that'd be 24 kilos if we got 12. I'm thinking that'd be 24 kilograms if we have 12 bags at 2. Yeah, look at me go. I still remember my 2's times tables at least anyway. Someone was talking about that the other day as well, about how slack we've all got, because we've all got calculators on our phones now, so don't have to remember your times tables. One would hope we can remember a few of our times tables. I probably get a little bit lost in the 7s. I don't know why. 7s just do my head in, but I don't know what that's about. Because John will tell you I'm easily confused at the best of times, but just ignore him, all right? So we got 24 already. As you can see, the sugar supply is getting a little bit more excitable, so we had to buy half a tonne this year. I'm sure there's plenty of people that buy a lot more than that, but I'm mainly just feeding my younger splits and some of the ones that didn't do so well during the season. But anyway, we'll see. I'm going to do a bit of open feeding and a little bit of in-house feeding, but we'll go through that later on. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 24 and 12 is what? 36. Is that right? 36. He's nodding. It's 36. So that's good. I wonder if I send John in to steal the jug, whether it would be more acceptable than me taking it again. Do you reckon? We'll send you in there to grab the jug? I reckon she'll say, "Get out of here, bush bee man." She'll give you a smile and say, "You're right, son. There you go." La-he-la. Whew. There's a bit of glucose for you. It's true. Oh, if we were in a different career, we'd be making hard-boiled lollies and you could turn this into toffee. Back when I was a kid, we used to make toffee because we were too poor to buy lollies from the shop, so we'd just boil up some sugar. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of vinegar, and you boil it up until it all cooks down. Tip it in some patty pans, And then if you were really fancy, my fancy friends, they used to actually put the hundreds and thousands sprinkles on the top, which was pretty trendy. We didn't have any of them, so, you know. Mind you, in Mum's defence, I wasn't a real keen fan on the hundreds and thousands anyway. They looked good, but they didn't taste all that flash. Oh, golly gosh. Well, entertainment plus. So we've got ourselves some Hive alive. I've just had to go and find me glasses and try and work this stuff out. This is a pretty cool idea. It's supposed to be colony strength in a natural way. I was just trying to read what the ingredients are, but it's got some protein and some lemongrass and some cool stuff. Obviously, they're not going to tell you what's in it because, you know, I guess it's like Colonel Sanders' secret recipe. I'm not really sure, but anyway, the research I've done tells me that it's supposed to be pretty cool shit, so we thought we better give it a go. I think I've got maybe a little bit more than I need for this week, but still. Mathematics is not my strong point, but anyway, with 2.5 mils in 45 litres, I'm trying to work it out, and I think it roughly works out at about 112 or so mils to me tub. So I'm looking at my thing and I'm going, well, I haven't got any half, so I'm going to go with basically 2 full ones and 1 3/4 one. So anyway, you Google your own, do your own maths. All I know is 2.5 in the pot. I was just reading all the blending instructions here, and it's got on here, and I was just thinking to myself, wonder why it's got Irish seaweed. Of all the places that you could get seaweed in the world, it was Irish seaweed, particularly stipulated down here in the list. And then I just noticed it's made in Ireland, so it kind of makes sense, wouldn't it? If you were making something in Ireland, you'd probably use the seaweed at your own sea. I'm not totally sure that Irish seaweed is better than any other seaweed, but I'm sure it is for this project. I don't know why I'd even mentioned that, but it's rather fascinating. If you're wondering why the blanket's on here, it's to keep the bees out, because I've got a couple of hives around home here, and I didn't want to come back after we got organised and they were full of bees. So, ta-da! It's like a magic trick. Oh, yes, don't forget to shake your pot. I think it said shake vigorously, so I'm guessing that's vigorously. Oh, I hate it when you do that and the lid's not on properly. That's all sorts of trouble. Smells the part. Right, let's see if we can get this in the pot without making a mess. How are we going to pour this, Jono? This is the moment when it slips out of your hands and goes bouncing across the shed floor and you think, shit, that was a very expensive little trip. I think we'll start with the 30 because then I'll be able to see it. Where are my numbers? Where are my numbers? I can't see the bloody thing at all. There it is. Right, so that's 30. That's 40. Oh, look at that. I'm assuming we have to stir this. It smells good. It smells like yummy stuff. Shit. Yum, 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 yum. Look at that. You'll be pleased to know I went and bought my own medicine glass. We'll just give it a little stir with my magic wooden spoon. Smells so good I might have some myself. Well, that all seemed to dissolve in there pretty good. Cool, groovy doovy doovy. Oh, here's me fancy bloody pots. I'll just make sure I haven't got leftover crap in here from the last time. I think that's all right. I think I rinsed them out properly, so you've got to make sure there's no too much bad algae growing in the bottom of your sugar pots, which this one has, which is a bit naughty. We might not use that one. We'll put that over there so I can go back into the kitchen and get washed later. Well, maybe not the kitchen. That might not be such a good idea. I don't know. Straight to jail. Isn't it? Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. Or something like that. Oh, well, this is I guess a development. It's very fancy, you see. But actually, I've got the wrong drum, so I'm going to have to get another board because normally that will sit under there just perfectly. But somewhere in this shed, somewhere in here, there's a 25-litre drum which actually creates this whole tower perfectly, but that was last winter somewhere. It's in here, but I don't know where. As we're about to fill these pots, I'm just thinking to myself, we measured 45 litres of water, but I think we've actually got more than 45 litres of content here because we've also put 45 kilograms of sugar in here. So I don't know. Would that mean I'm guessing we've probably got somewhere near 60, but there's no way to measure this pot, so. I don't know. Does that mean we've got... I think in the short term, under is probably better than over, so we'll go with that. My apologies to my Irish brothers. This is getting heavy. Oh God, where's my funnel? No. Right, that's a fail. Oh my goodness. Whew. Fuming. Hang on. I think I'm going to find my stand bit. That's jolly heavy. That's why I wouldn't have done that before. Whew. I wonder if we put it on that bucket. Would that be the right height? Would this bucket work? Oh, look at that. Oh, total skill. Well, something like that anyway, he says. You reckon that's skill or just roughness? Oh, that'd be right. It's a millimetre too much. Ah, damn it. What about... That's going to be no better. That's not going to work. I don't know what happened to my proper one. Oh, stuff it. It'll be all right. You'll just have to bear with me. I could hold the camera and you could hold the drum. That'd be fair. It's probably not going to happen though, is it? Whoa. Oh, shit. Fucking hell. Stop it. Now I'm all sticky. Yuck. There's a prime example of why you don't do this in the kitchen.
There's a lot more than 60 litres.
Well, just to get you excited, we actually worked it out at 45 litres, so we're definitely out of whack. Anyway, we can correct it. We'll just, I don't know exactly what we're going to work out in a minute, but we will. Oh, this is entertaining, this last little bit, isn't it? Come on. Oh. Just try doing that with a wooden spoon to see how you get on. Oh, right. Well, now. Oh, let's put this over here to give it a rinse. I'm going to put the rest in this bucket because I've got an extra bucket. Golly gosh. So instead of 45, let's say we had 60 and a bit. Whoa, shivers. That's interesting too. You know what? Sugar in the water actually makes it heavier as well as thicker. Not that that should actually be a surprise to anybody but me, but still, it's an interesting thing. Now, young John, what are we going to do? We have to work out that if we worked it out at 45. Where's my calculator? I'm going to need a calculator for this project because I'm not that bright. Well, we worked it out, no, we have worked it out at 45 litres, but we've technically got 60 and a bit litres. Calculator, it says. Clear that. 45 times by 2.5. So 112 from Rick. Anybody out there? Can everybody out there remember 112? Please, just keep that in your head. So we're going to go 60 times 2.5 is 150. Take 112. Leaves us with 38 mils. So 38 mils. And then we've got 3 pots. So 38 mils divided by 3. 12 mils per pot. Well, 12 and a half. For all you expert people out there, it's 12.6666666666666 and a 7 on the end just to fuck with you. I don't know about that, but anyway, there you go. So I reckon we're going to run with 12 extra mils in each container, and we should be somewhere near it. So next time, when we make this up, this is the first time we've ever done this, just remember you have some expansion when you add your sugar to the water. And I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know, but anyway, if you're doing this in your garage, and this is the first time ever, learn from someone who just made this up. Oh, has this got a 12 mil measuring bit on it? Goodness me, I can't see nothing now, it's all crap. Oh, John, around about there somewhere, because it goes from 10 to 15 just to mess with me. Right, hang on. I've got my eyes back, even though I'm all sticky. Right, 12. 12 mils. 12 of the best. I think if you were to ask me, don't buy a cheap $2 bloody medicine cup, get one with some black writing if you've got old eyes like mine, because this is ridiculous. What's that say? That's too much. And a little spidgen back. Right, that'll do. So one of them in here. We'll have to let Mr. Muscles do the shaking. Right, so one in that one. I don't know exactly how imperative it is, but I figure they've got measurements on their pot for a reason. Things to do in your spare time. Rightio, I think that's technically the simple part. Golly gosh. I wonder if we were growing trees, this would actually be the nursery, wouldn't it? Because these little ladies here have just got some new queens and they're just kind of building up a bit of strength. And I thought it would be a golden opportunity to try out our sugar feeding. I mean, this is just like, if you've got a super strong hive, obviously you don't need to feed them. But these girls have had a bit of a struggle. Down here on the riverfront, there's been a little bit of a change in the way the trees are flowering, and it's a bit of a drier summer than I'd expected. And anyway, the ladies are going to get moved after this, but just for now, we're going to give them some sugar syrup, see if we can't get the brood going and crank them up. And the wife's stolen her pink smoker back. Put it under lock and key, would you? Never mind. My God. So I thought that was a bit hectic. But anyway, she said you're not having it. So that was that. So I have to get my own back again. What do you reckon she'd say if I found a pair of bolt cutters? How much fun would that be? Some episode going shortly forward. We're just going to have to, it's just going to have to appear, and I might not even make a comment. I'm sure I'd hear about it though. Yow! So we'll just have a bit of a poke around in here and see what's going on. Cool. Now we're just going to have a bit of a look. Oh. These girls aren't looking real hectic. They're just over this half of the hive. I'll pull out a couple of frames here. Definitely nothing over there, because they're not actually over here, so they're not going to be on that anyway. So we've really only got about 4 frames of bees here. So these girls have got a little bit of nectar going on, but very little. And they're not really laying up real hectic. You can see a bit of glistening here, but they're not laying up real hectic. They've only got 4 frames. So that's why we're going to give them some sugar, just to boost them up a bit, make them feel happy. You know, I tell you what, they're just going to get their tummies full of some nice sugar with some nice bee active, what was it called? Hive alive. That's almost a rhyme, isn't it? You know, I'm hive alive, instead of staying alive. Oh, that's why, okay, that's why I'm not a rock star, it's all right. Oh, I know. Anyway, we'll go and get one of our feeders and pop in here and give the girls a bit of excitement. So with these girls, we're going to use these in-hive feeders. Of course, there's open feeding, in-hive feeding. Golly, you can get those crazy. I've tried the bottles with the little thing that goes in the hive, and of course, they work all right, but you end up with a few ant dramas. So if you've got ant problems, perhaps shy away from them a little bit. They're okay, they don't cost much, but these in-hive feeders are, you know, a bit more effective and a little bit spill-friendly, and you actually get to feed the colony that's actually weak. Because I do some open feeding, and then when I've got some weak colonies, I'll put these in. But these particular colonies here are just our little queens that are new, and they were running a bit late this year, and so they haven't really built up, and so I don't want to lose them. So supplementary feeding is how it goes. I guess if you could have a funnel as well. If you're really a serious commercial beekeeper, they have it like a fuel tank, and they just which is pretty crazy. But anyway, one thing at a time. Oi. Yeah. Try not to spill too much sugar when you come back to your hives, because as I was saying, ants just love this crap as much as your ladies will. And you don't want any more ant excitement than you're actually already going to have. I don't know if I mentioned, but we're using the 1-to-1 ratio, because then the sugar's light enough that the girls will think it's a nectar flow and then they'll start laying up, which is what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to get them to lay up. So they got into winter with a few honey stores, and they've also got a whole bit more young, so when it gets cold they can all get together and vibrate and keep each other happy. We're really just trying to emulate what would happen in the wild if there happened to be a whole lot of nectar this time of year. But being that we're here in Oz and we don't have any goldenrod for them to go and find, this is how it goes. And of course, just as a footnote, we haven't got any supers on here, so we're not going to actually use this honey. By the time this goes through, well, it's even not going to be honey, it's going to be transported sugar. For the most part, if you manage this right, the ladies are going to use this sugar syrup once they render it into some sort of, well, I guess, resembling honey. They're going to eat it through the winter. And then when we get to the honey flow, we'll come back and we'll put the queen excluder on there. Well, we've still got the queen excluder, but we'll do that. We'll put the super on, and then it'll be lovely natural nectar that they bring in to turn into honey. So just be aware when you're feeding, you're really trying to get these girls to pop out of winter and go, whoa, we want to get some honey. And off they go. Well, that's that little patch done. There's probably a couple of hives here that I don't think are going to make it anyway, because they're on about their third requeening exercise. The poor little virgin didn't make it back the first couple of times. But anyway, that's how it goes. But I reckon you can see the girls are quite enjoying this sugar syrup with a bit of hive alive in it. They're just not sure what to think. They're going off their nut, and hopefully do that every week for a couple of weeks, or probably 2 or 3 weeks, roughly, until they raise that young. And then we'll get them ready for winter. They can go through winter, and then in spring, or, well, I guess it's not really going to be spring, it's going to be late winter. Just before spring, we'll give them a bit more feed to bring them out of there, and away we go, ready for almond blossoms.